Hi, hello, and welcome to another episode of the Nerd for No Reason podcast. I am one of your hosts, Raven.
And I am your other host, Mark.
We're here to bring you another week of the stuff that we talk about.
That's right. Hot, fresh, steaming pile of nerd stuff.
Hey, it's what the people want.
Raven, I love it when you do the intros. It just makes me happy.
Thanks, man. Just throw a little pizzazz in it, I guess. Get out of here. All right.
So, we got some things to talk about this week. We got I want to talk about a few things right up front because today has been an awesome day, and this kind of bleeds into my what's made me happy this week because I got a huge dose of serotonin in my brains today. I went to a local 1 day, half day comic convention here, and I haven't even talked to Raven about this. So this is all brand new to her too. And I look at these types of things as interview potential. While we're there, I try to go and do interviews with people walking around, a lot of the artists, a lot of independent artists. And it's very hit or miss when I've done these things in the past because sometimes I'll just walk up to people and be like, hey, you want to be interviewed on a podcast? And they'll be like, sure. And as soon as I shove a microphone in their face, they're like, I'm like, so what are you looking forward to seeing here? And they're like, things and stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool. What kind of things? Are you into anime or are you into video games? They're like, yes. Like, my dog, you got to give me more than one word answers. But I interviewed a couple of artists today. One of them lives in Atlanta. He came down for the show. Another one lives actually in Macon, which is right outside my hometown of Warner Robins. And I had really good conversations with these dude.
Nice.
And I got one of them, Dan Fraga, to draw in my. I have a sketchbook that I've had for, I don't know, probably about 5 years now, and the whole premise behind this book now is when I take it to a convention, I say, here's a blank page, go for it. I will give you little to no instructions. You draw whatever your heart desires. And today was just a phenomenal piece of work because I went to this artist, Dan Fraga, and said, hey, I would like for you to draw something. You can kind of just go crazy, but right now I'm kind of in like a mood, like I'm really kind of a sucker for anthropomorphic animals doing human type stuff, like not dirty stuff, but you know what I'm saying. And he was like, okay. And he had like his list of like what he was going to charge and stuff. And I was like, I don't want like comic book characters per se. Like, you don't have to draw like Superman from the waist up and charge me the bust price. Like, you just kind of go wild. You tell me what it is. I would like to pay this much money, and you tell me if that's okay. And he was like, cool, I'll charge you this one price, and I'll just draw a whole thing because, but I'll make it a certain size so it's not whatever. Mm-hmm. I was like, cool. Fast forward a couple hours later, he sends me a text on my phone. He's like, hey, man, I got it ready. Whenever you're ready, come by the booth and pick it up. I come by, and this man has drawn me what can only be described as a Ninja Turtle in street clothes doing spray painting stuff, graffiti. And it looks dope as shit.
Nice.
I'm so happy with it. I posted it on the podcast Instagram. It was so great. And then right after that, we did an interview about 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. I'm working on that audio now. I'm listening to it. My microphones are terrible because I tried to use like little lavalier mics, and one of them was real good, and the other one was hot garbage. So I'm trying to cancel out all the background noise. But it'll get there. We got some really good stuff. I can't wait to share it. The other guy was Chris Hammer. It's either Hammer or Hamer. I know I'm butchering this, Chris. If you're listening, dude, I'm so sorry. Recorded for, or I thought I was recording for about 5 minutes, and then I looked down to check the levels and realized I was not recording on one of the things, and I almost cried.
Ooh.
And he was like, "No, no, no, it's cool." And we started again, and we started talking some more, and it was awesome. It was great. I had such a good time. Such a good time.
Nice.
And I can't wait to share all the stuff with everybody. It's great. And that is one of the things that's made me happy this week. Raven, what about you?
Oh, so we're just doing the show backwards now? Is that what we're doing?
I mean, we might as well at this point. But no, that was
That's awesome.
great day.
Did you go with the girls or did you go solo?
Actually, I went solo.
Nice.
I was going to take the girls if they wanted to go, but when I've taken them to this thing before in the past when it was at a smaller location, they get bored super quick because I run into my old comic book friends that I met from when I did a version of this podcast many years ago, and I get to talking, and like kids do when grown-ups get to talking, they're just like, "Oh my God, can we please leave?" Because the convention space, at least where it was before, was really small. So they would go walk around, and less than 5 minutes later, they're back and like, "We've seen everything, and we are ready to go." And I understand. And meanwhile, I'm talking to my friend that I haven't seen in a couple of years, and that's kind of, I get it. And I was like, "Listen, unless you want to be bored to tears, just hang out." I took Amy over to her grandmother's. Alice stayed at the house, and I went and just tooled around this little comic convention. It was a small space. It wasn't, well, comparatively speaking, it wasn't as big as like a Dragon Con or something like that. Mm-hmm. It was just at a little convention center up in Macon, and I had a blast. I had such a good time.
That's really cool. I'm glad you went to it and, got to have a good time. Got to meet some people.
Got that sweet, sweet content.
Hey.
So what about you? How was your week been, Raven?
It's been relatively good. A little tired this week just because I've been, a lot of my days I was running on, 3-4 hours sleep. But not to brag, but I made it through. But honestly, it's been a pretty decent week. Most of my customers have been all really good. Can't complain here.
Cool. Did you know that your man and my brother was going to come down here and visit? Because I didn't know that until I got a text message going, "Hey, I'm at Dad's house. Where are you at?" And I'm like, "I'm at work, where you should be, dude."
Yeah. He told me like last minute. He's like, "Hey," I think this was like Tuesday night. He's like, "Hey, I think I'm going to go to Dad's for my 2 days off." His birthday's on Saturday, so I was like, "Oh, okay. I can't go with you. Sorry, I'll be working." He's like, "Yeah, I can only go for like," he was there for like maybe 24 hours, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was like, "Dog, you could have asked to be like, hey, can you schedule me in late Saturday?" And just like get up and go in the morning. But I was like, "All right, you do you, man." But he said that him and your dad had a good time. So that's what matters.
And he somehow, I've been fighting this fight for years, Raven. After he left, I get a call from my dad, and he goes, "I need your help." I'm like, "Yeah, what's up, man?" He goes, I think I'm ready to get rid of cable, man. Which streaming service do I need? Oh. Is it YouTube or is it Hulu?" And I'm like, "What?"
Is it YouTube?
Well, no, because like YouTube TV, that's what I have, and and sure enough, I was on the phone with them while they set up Hulu Live, and it was like, oh boy, I'm trying to think. What is the Greek god? Oh man,
When it comes
I don't
to
know.
like mythology and stuff, I'm out. Sorry,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Oh man, there's an analogy I'm trying to make here that is just not coming to me. Can't remember. But anyway, they discovered fire. It was hilarious listening to them on the other end of them just, well, I don't know how to get the app on the thing and this
Yeah.
and that and all of this. I mean, it was old people talk. And I was dragging them through the mud. And then once I got them to the other side, they were like, oh my God, this is great.
Yeah,
I
the
was like,
thing that we've
good.
been telling them for years.
Years.
Bless them.
Yeah.
It finally took me to move out for my grandparents to be like, we don't need cable anymore. I was telling you people this for like a hot minute. Just get streaming services. And they were like, yeah, you were right. I told them to get rid of their like home phone because I was like, what are we using this for? We use it for like signing up for anything. To be like, oh, what's the phone number you want to use for this? Not the one that I'll get text from. All right. Like, other
Right.
than that, pointless. Good for them. Good for old people making better decisions.
Yeah. So this wasn't on our show notes. I'm gonna throw this to you because Alice proposed a question to me that I just thought about that I feel like I'm gonna bring up here and see if it throws you for a big a loop as it did for me.
Oh boy.
Yeah. She asked me a couple days ago. She goes, "Hey, what is your favorite animated movie?" And honestly, I think my brain short circuited because I didn't have an answer, and I love animated
Oh, I'm
movies.
sorry.
And I was like, you have to be more specific than that. I don't think I can just quantify just a single solitary animated movie where I could be like, yes, that's the one. And the first thing that came to my mind was Finding Nemo because I love Finding
Nice.
Nemo. And she laughed at me. I said, "What are you talking about? This is my favorite movie,
Right?
not yours." From a technical standpoint, in 2003, I think was when the movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
They animated underwater with potatoes for computers, and it looks gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Still to this day, one of my favorite things I did back in the day when I bought Finding Nemo on DVD was they had one of the settings you could do like a virtual aquarium. And you could just put it on and just let it go, and about once every 5 to 10 minutes, one of the characters would just kind of float across the screen, but it was like you were looking at a scene from the movie just with like no,
I think I know what you're
just
talking about.
random
Yeah.
fish swimming by. And I would sleep with that on. Like, that was my jam.
Nice.
But there's so many other things. I was thinking, like, oh man, are we talking anime? Because there's all this other anime that I love, and traditionally drawn movies because I love Beauty and the Beast. I think that might be my favorite hand drawn animated thing. And then even today when I was doing an interview, we got to talking about animation with one creator named Kiwi Bird, and we got talking about hand drawn animation. And I was like, well, what are you watching? And she said something, and just all these different things. So now, Raven, I propose to you, now that I've been rambling on, do you have a favorite animated movie?
Of course. Mine's Ratatouille. Like,
Good answer.
instantly. I was like, yeah, Ratatouille. It's just such a cute little wholesome movie. I like the fact that it's like anyone can cook. Can anyone cook? Should anyone cook? We're going to find out. If a rat can cook, maybe. Look, there's this little kid. Oh my goodness. He's so cute. on TikTok, and he cooks better than his mom. She's literally like, I don't know how I taught him how to do things, but he has learned through like YouTube and things how to like properly cook. And he's like 4 years old, like 3 or 4 years old. And he's so smart. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Remy was right. Anyone can cook. But I also like, I really like a lot of the Studio Ghibli movies. And one of my favorites is Ponyo. So it's like kind of a toss
Really?
up between the two. Yeah. Ponyo is
I think
just
that's the
so beautiful.
I think, yeah, I will say it is beautiful, but that's the one Studio Ghibli movie that I couldn't make it through.
Really?
Really,
Dang.
I
I
know.
think
I
she's
might
just
have.
so cute.
We might have to revisit it.
I got it for Christmas. I was
Oh,
very excited.
cool.
I got that and Howl's Moving Castle. So have me a Studio Ghibli day one time. That would be fun. But yeah, was Alice thinking of like anything in particular, or was she
I'm
just
not
like
real sure.
just what is it?
Well, see, she starts conversations by going, "I have a question," and
Sounds
she'll
right.
preface every question by going, "I have a question,"
Hmm.
and um, and that will lead to usually to me just rambling. So
Yeah.
I don't know if she was just saying that to get me to start talking, because we were coming back from we were coming from somewhere, and we were driving along and listening to the radio, and she just had a thought in her head, and it worked. I mean, I started talking, and sure enough, it was, well, we got anime, and I really like Vampire Hunter D and Ninja Scrolls. Like, those are really classics, but I can't discount Akira. And I'm like, about to stop the truck and pull out a whiteboard and start drawing Venn diagrams. Like, okay, well, first you have this, the this is just important. It may not be the best movie, but it's important to the whole culture of the thing. And
Nice.
so, yeah, I don't think I don't know. I asked Amy, and she said Ratatouille was one of her favorites.
Hey,
So,
she knows what's up.
yeah, she will probably come in here at some point and say hey to you.
Love that.
So, and yeah, yeah. And this really got we might have to like dedicate a full episode into just breaking down our favorite just animated things.
That'd be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Right now, it's morphin' time. That might be the best segue I've ever done in the show.
Thank you. That was great.
So I can't remember. Have we talked about Power Rangers on this show before? We had to. Yes, Jason David Frank's passing.
Yes, absolutely.
We did a big Power Ranger talk. News broke this week that they're doing a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Netflix special called Once and Always, the 30th anniversary special.
Mm.
And I saw this come across my Reddit feed and could not believe it. We have a large majority of first season actors coming back. Walter Jones is Zach. David Yost is Billy Cranston. A few other people, like those to me are the ones who well, David Yost notoriously bullied until he quit the show, I don't know, 3 or 4 seasons in, but he was bullied for being gay, and he was just like, all right, that's it, I'm out. And kind of distanced himself for a long time from the Power Ranger community. Walter Jones, I don't think he's been back in a Ranger capacity since he left after the first season. Original Black Ranger replaced by Johnny Young Bosch after the first season, and I don't think he's done anything Power Rangers since. And this is a wild thing to me.
Nice.
So I think it's going to be great. And the little trailer that I think I showed you, or I linked it to
Mm-hmm.
you. The big question on everyone's mind is who is the Green Ranger in the video?
Ooh.
Because the Green Ranger is depicted, and no one knows if Jason David Frank filmed his stuff before he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So we will find out on April 13th, I think.
Nice. Nice, nice,
So,
nice.
and
You
when
and
it comes
Chris
out,
can have a little
oh
Power
yeah.
Ranger watch together. That'd be fun.
Let's see, when is it? Do. And they did this at the same time. April 19th.
Okay.
And at the same time, they released, they revealed the new suits for Power Rangers Cosmic Fury. So, who knows? That might be good too. I have no idea. I've tried to watch some of the newer Power Ranger stuff and just haven't. I don't think by any fault of my own is that I'll watch a couple episodes and then get distracted
Mm-hmm.
and don't watch them no more.
That's the thing with like a lot of stuff that you've like grown up on is like, how can I now watch the new stuff without being like, I guess it's not like you get bored. It's more that like now as an adult you're like, yeah. I've seen him do the fight stuff. I've seen him do whatever. So, I guess I understand that. I watched
Yeah, they're
it's like how, you watch SpongeBob for like ever and then eventually you're just like, he's just not the same. Like something like that.
yeah. Yeah, I know that feeling all too well. Right now, as my kids are watching SpongeBob, and they love it, and unless it's the first three seasons, I just cannot get into it. Like,
Yeah. That's fair. Or like how they keep making like new Scooby Doo stuff. Have you heard like the backlash on the newest Scooby Doo release?
yes.
Which is kind of sad. I'm really sad about that because I have always been a big Scooby Doo fan. I
Me
was kind
too.
of excited when I heard about it, but I don't have the streaming app for it. So I was like, oh well, I'll just see how it goes. And everyone was like, trash. And I was like, oh no. The first ever like trash Scooby Doo.
Yeah. And do you know how hard it is to make an entire fandom like Scooby Doo?
Mm-hmm.
Just say there is no redeeming quality. Like the only thing good about the show is that it's drawn pretty,
Yeah.
and that's it. Like
Yeah.
it's wild, and I think the most damning piece of I don't know. I don't want to say evidence, but the most damning thing to happen to this show is that it has a lower score now on IMDb than the Dragon Ball movie, which was widely regarded as the absolute worst adaptation of a property with such a rich
Oh
history in
no.
fandom. So, yes, congratulations, Velma. Um, you have now you are now worse than the worst.
Oh,
So,
that's rough.
yeah, yeah. And I was eventually, and I know that at some point I was eventually going to check it out. And now hearing this, I'm in absolutely no hurry
Right.
to check it out at all.
I wonder if they'll be able to like make something again. To,
They will.
pull the Scooby Doo fandom out of the funk, but maybe it'll take them a while. I feel like they used to do some really decent shows, and eventually they just like stopped producing them, which was, of course, a shame. I also liked when they would do like, you know, it's like a compilation almost of like, it was like a set. My grandparents have literally almost every single Scooby Doo thing possible because I was really big into Scooby Doo. My grandfather would watch it with me. And then eventually my little sister really got into it, so he would watch it with her. So Scooby Doo is big in the family, but we've had like all the like series of stuff, and I just want like new movies that are just, big old series of stuff that I can watch. That's what I would watch whenever I was like sick or bored.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
I think they will. I think Scooby Doo as a franchise will be able to recover from this. I think the problem is you see it more and more now that people get rights to an IP and then have to put their spin on it. They is like, oh well, we can do something edgy with it, and they completely abandon what made the property good in the first place.
Exactly.
You know, so yeah, and I get it. It's hard. I'm not a writer, but it's I don't know. It's they're trying to reinvent the wheel when you can't reinvent the wheel. Does that make sense?
Yeah, just stick with what you
Yeah.
know. It's a classic.
Right.
It's Scooby Doo.
Yeah, and even if they wanted to make like a quote unquote adult version of Scooby Doo, they could. I think they could have done that, but it just really seems from everything that I've seen about it so far, it just really seems that they just tried too hard.
Yeah.
You know. So I don't know. I don't know. I might get around to it eventually, and just to see, but today is not that day.
Fair enough.
Oh. All right, Raven, I have stumbled across something that I'm pretty sure is old, but it's new to me, and you can tell me because I'm an old man if you know about this app, but it's called Letterboxd. Have you heard of this?
I have not heard of it. What is it?
Okay. It is a movie review app.
Okay.
It's a very simple interface. You go there, you search a movie that you've watched or whatever, and you write reviews for it, or you can just kind of catalog what movies you're watching, just to kind of keep track. Rate them how you see fit, and I guess at the end of the year, you can see what movies you watched that year.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I wish I would have known about this last year when I was trying to catalog what movies are, at the end of the year when I'm like, oh, what movies have I watched? What new movies have come out? And I've been like, oh, yeah. And now this has turned into my favorite thing of a way to keep track of what movies that I want to watch.
Nice. That sounds like a really
So-
cool app. Especially if
It
it's
is.
like, oh, you seen any good movies lately? Because that's what my grandparents always ask me. And I would just be like, let me think. But, like, if you could, as long as you're good about maintaining your app and you're like, yes, this movie was great, or this movie was trash, and I will never watch it again. I hope whoever made this cries in their sleep every night, like something like that. I think it's a really cool idea. It'd be really cool if you could do, I don't know if this app does that, but if it would like share information with like people, that
I
you're
think
like
there is a way,
friends with.
but I haven't figured out how to like make friends or accept friends requests. So,
That's fair.
guys, if you're out there and you want to drop me a line and be like, "Oh yes, idiot, here's how you do this," please, by all means, because it seems like there's a way to have friends, and I don't know if it's behind the paywall. And if it is, then I'm okay with it. I don't really need to have friends, but to me, what's really helpful is because I try to curate all these kind of obscure movies, or I will get a bunch of movies at one time and I will forget I have them. So now I can basically get a movie and it could be like some obscure movie that I know I'm not going to watch anytime soon. And as I'm like sorting through all my files and putting them where they need to be, I'll forget it's there. And now I can put it on my watch list and say, okay, cool, that's right. This is part of the things that I need, the movies that I need to get to. And as I'm going through, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is good, this sucked, and all of that.
All right.
So at the end of the year, I have a running catalog of everything, and it's going to make my job a whole lot easier. So y'all get ready, because in December, we're going to have a hell of a year-end wrap-up.
Oh, my goodness.
Faux show.
We just put, like, every movie watched that year. Just in a big ol' file. Just to be like, here. In case you missed it, this is what we were watching. That's cool. I dig it.
Well, what did we watch this week, Raven? Because this one was all you.
What?
You convinced me to watch this movie.
What? The only movie that I've been talking about nonstop since I've watched
I even wrote a review for it on the Letterboxd app.
Hey.
You know what? I will go ahead and why don't you tell everybody what the movie was, and I will pull up my app and read my review, because I think I wrote a Pulitzer Prize-winning review.
Oh, very nice. Well, the movie that we watched this week is The Menu. You know, that little silly movie that I was telling everyone about last week, and probably for a few weeks now, because when I watched it, did I watch it in December? November? I don't even keep track anymore. I thought it was wonderful. I thought it was so amazing. Like, just twists and turns. And so I'm glad that you finally have the chance to experience it. Do you have your review pulled up?
I do.
Give it to us.
I went into this movie knowing almost nothing, and I think it made the viewing experience better for it. Rafe Fiennes, not Ralph Fiennes, Rafe Fiennes gives one of his best performances since Voldemort. Joking, he was great. And Ann Taylor-Joy giving a monster performance. I may have to go back and watch it again. Wonderful film, 4.5 stars.
4.5.
Faux show, 4.5.
Oof.
It's not 5. No, Raven, I love this movie. This was a great movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was so good, I texted you throughout the movie and said, Raven, this is a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that for a lot of films. I don't think I've done that for any film that we've talked about so far.
I don't think so.
Yeah, this was so much fun. This falls in line with, what? I don't even know how to describe other movies in this vein. Not horror movies, but movies that take place on a single set piece for 90% of the movie.
It's definitely very suspenseful. But it's beautiful. Like, the food that's prepared, and like all the like little action shots of when they're like third course, and then like shows you everything. It's so pretty. It's like beautiful food that you would look at and go, I probably can't afford this.
Yep. And it was shot, back to the way that they shoot just the kitchen scenes. It is very like these high class like restaurant documentaries you see on like Vice or something. And I love the way that the movie has a steady type of just escalation to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, once it starts going, just slowly but surely, like there's a very clear type of, cone shape in escalation where it's just like, here we go, and it gets wilder and wilder and wilder. Just everything from, what was it, the third or fourth course, R.I.P. Jeremy. at that point is so fucking good, man. Nicholas Holt's character
Hate him.
was
He's
I
awful.
hated him so much.
And he played
I
it
wasn't
so good.
God, he did. And the part where Ray Fiennes pulls him into the kitchen and is like, "Okay, come on, let's see what you got." And you could just see him just slowly but surely just breaking down. And in that moment, I felt bad for him, but at the same time, I was like, "Oh, you fucking deserve all of this shit."
Absolutely.
Oh man.
He was
So
such a trash character. And that man played it so incredibly great. Like,
yep.
it's one of those kids that you would be like, in school, you would absolutely hate. Because they'd definitely be the kid that's like, I know all the answers to everything. I want the teacher to like me most. And you're just like, dude, there's no point. Like, you go to college and there's always that one person that's like, the professor will love me the most. Like, that's him. It's like, there's no reason for you to be this involved into someone else's life like this. But the fact that, like, when that scene happened and he's like, what did I tell you when we were corresponding for the last 6 months? And he was like, that we were going to die.
Mm-hmm.
When she crawls across that table and punches the heck out of his face. I was like, yeah, no, 100%. How are you going to bring someone and be like, she's going to die, most likely, but, like, should I care? I technically paid her to come with me.
And I love the reveal that the only reason John Leguizamo's character was there was because he was in a shitty movie. That the chef was like, I hate it that this movie is the absolute worst. That was in the midst of all of this serious
That
chaos.
was pretty good, yeah.
That was such a great joke. And he's like, what the fuck?
Sorry, well, I mean, to be honest, when he was like, I had this Sunday off. A chef hardly ever gets a day off. And it was my first one off in like months. And he's like, I went and I saw your movie. And it was just the worst thing I've ever seen. I mean, that's fair enough to, dampen your mood, I guess. Is it worth killing someone over?
No.
But there are a
I don't think
lot
so.
of trashy people that were
Oh, yeah.
in this room. But you really, I don't know. It was like so interesting to watch them go from table to table to like see everyone's point of view, see like what kind of just garbage person everyone is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the older couple, dude who gets his finger chopped off,
Yeah.
he definitely, like, he had cheated on his wife. So it's like, yeah. Sure, he should go. What did his wife do? Like, I don't think she necessarily did anything.
I think she was the she was just like that rich person who
She's like some snooty lady that you're just like,
yeah, like she didn't enjoy the experience or didn't savor the experience because they had that conversation. It was
yeah.
Well, you've been here 3 times. Name anything that you've eaten.
And she's like, the salmon. And he was like, halibut. It was halibut.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's fair, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, if he's killing John Leguizamo for a bad movie, then this tracks.
Yeah.
So, and then there was that food critic.
Oh yeah, and
I hated her and her yes man.
Dude, that guy was an absolute.
Yeah, He was the worst.
He literally would just be like hanging on to every word she said, and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking." Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
And then the three dudes that you know, are
Oh
casually
yeah, the
just
Wall Street Bros.
scamming their boss out of money. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what did you think about the scene where it's like they all go outside and he's like, "Okay, everybody gets a 45 minutes or minute 45-second start. Go hide, gentlemen." And so they all start running away, and then you literally just have the one guy just standing there, and he's like, "No, no, no, you too." What,
Yeah.
like, can you imagine just being in a situation where it's like, all right, you have to run and hide. You don't know if you're going to die because they
Right.
know that everyone's going to die. So it's just like, how serious do we take this? That
And
was intense.
I really like the flip side of that when we catch up with the ladies inside, and they're just smoking and talking and just kind of having a down moment. I really enjoyed that scene too,
Yeah.
because at this point everyone's kind of, for lack of better words, everyone's kind of accepted their fate. At least it seemed like the women have at that point. And it was just like, man, everyone just really chewed the scenery, and that was just a perfect scene chewing moment right there. It was so good. I keep saying it. It's so good.
Mm-hmm. What did you think about when she goes into the chef's house and it's literally just the same arrangement as the kitchen?
I have questions.
Of course.
Okay. So I want to know if the same if the kitchen house number 1 where they were at and eating, if behind that silver door is another bedroom for the chef,
Mm-hmm.
or if it's different, because now I'm really curious. And that shit was creepy.
Mm-hmm.
And it, yeah, but it helped her crack the code. It helped Anna Taylor-Joy. She cracked the code. Asking for a hamburger, a
Yeah.
regular hamburger, and that was good, man. She played it 100% perfectly right, and yeah, it was crazy. I really thought that boat was going to explode.
Right? Like she's literally just sitting there. She turns it off and she's like, all right, time to eat.
Mm-hmm.
The ending scene was, that whole ending sequence was so beautiful where she's just like, I hate your food. And it's just like, excuse me? It's like if you went somewhere that high class, homeboy was over there like, you don't send food back. And it's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But he's serving us literally just liquids on a plate without bread. Like, at some point you're going to question this man. Be like, I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if I actually trust what you're doing here. Um, but her just being like, make me a cheeseburger. And he's just like, uh, okay. And like, just the whole little conversation that they have. I like that it feels like very raw and genuine. In this like intense moment where he's like, I'm about to just obliterate all these people. Like she gets away at the perfect moment.
Yeah.
And then everyone becomes s'mores. Which is, that concept was wild.
That was. It was.
That's one way to go out.
Yeah. It's. I wish I'm gonna have to do some more digging and watch like an interview with the dude who wrote this movie, because that is. Oh man, there's so much opportunity here to go full gory horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
And while there is some gore and there is, it does kind of slowly turn into like this horror movie, it doesn't take that leap. Actually, I read a review and I felt the same way that I've never been more shocked and disappointed people didn't get eaten. Because I would have thought 100% watching the first half of this movie that someone was going to get ate. And
Mm-hmm.
no one got ate.
That's fair.
Shock and amazement. But the thing, these types of movies, I really enjoy because it forces the actors to act. And what I mean by that is movies like The Man from Earth or The Sunshine Limited. I think it's The Sunshine Limited. They take place mainly in one scene or one setting. And that setting is usually kind of minimal and it focuses on just the actors doing acting things. And that's kind of what this does. And these types of movies just really do it for me. I'm not familiar with Ann Taylor-Joy. I think she was in that show The Queen's Gambit, or that movie The Queen's Gambit. I don't know. I know that she was in it about making chess. I know she's in the new Mario Brother movies. That's really all I know about her. I love John Leguizamo. I love Nicholas Hoult. But everyone else, and I couldn't tell you another movie besides Harry Potter that Ralph Fiennes has been in.
He's in one of my favorite movies. He's in the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Never seen it.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe you've not seen it. It's so good.
Hold on, let me put it in my Letterboxd app.
Hey, do it.
That's called a callback, kids.
But yeah, the chick who was the chef's assistant, Elsa. Oh my god, you just like want to hate her. But I don't know. There's just something about her that's just like she has like almost that kind face, but deep down you can tell she's like just a bitch, you know? Like one of
Yeah.
those people that you're like, "Oh, it's just a surface view." She did I think she did really good in her role of being like I am the chef's favorite. And then that moment where she sees Margot in the house and she like tries to kill her because she's like, you can't take my spot. And she just goes absolute crazy. I really like that because it's definitely like you can see deep down in that personality of like, I'm a pick me girl. It's me.
Yeah.
It's always me. And it's always gonna be me.
How did the chef convince all these people
Dude.
to die for him?
Here's the thing. Let's think about this. In the way of a cult, where you force people to do all this work and work constantly, and then you either don't let them sleep or get the very bare minimal sleep, the fact that they were all living on an island, it almost feels like a cult. Like he is
Yeah.
somehow running all of this, and he's putting these little ideas in their head. That's the only thing that I could ever come up with, is that it's basically like, no, we're a family. We all think the same. We all do the same. We rise, we do our work, and eventually you get like 4 hours sleep. If that. So I don't know. I think it might be like one of those things. Because also, even though those people are working in, a high luxury kitchen, how much are they really getting time to like do things outside of that and then even eat? I'm almost like, because kitchen work is so hard. You are constantly like busting your butt.
Oh, yeah.
Try and
You're on
like,
your feet for 12 hours a day.
exactly. So I'm like, what are these people, when are they getting a break? Are they like properly eating? Because that's another thing with like cults is that they'll like basically starve them to try and control them. So I'm like, okay, I'd believe that it was a cult, and that's how he convinced them. But then, the one girl, as the women are all like sitting there, and she's like, "Yeah, this is my course." And they're all like, "Girl, you're really good at cooking. We could help you start a restaurant." And she's like, "Actually, this was my idea to kill everyone at the end." It's such a good idea. I'm like, oh, maybe he just hires crazy people.
Maybe.
There's always that. But yeah, that's my theory.
Well, this is a this is going to be on. It deserved to be on the list, all the lists that I've seen of the best movies of 2022. This was a fantastic flick.
Mm-hmm.
And it very well might be on the 2023 list of Nerd for No Reason podcast, because you know what, I'm gonna say it's a 2023 film as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, it is like right there at the end of the year, so it's fair enough.
It squeaked right in, and we're in awards season now too. So I don't. I'm trying to think if it's been nominated for anything. I'll have to look that up too.
I don't normally keep up with that stuff since I don't have cable anymore. I used to watch like the award ceremonies because I was always interested in like, you know, what do the people find popular? But now I'm just like, I'm just going to watch whatever I want. I don't care. People can hate on it.
Oh yeah, it's been nominated for a bunch of. Let's see, Golden Globes. That's probably the most notable one right now. Let's see, Best Performance by an Actor in a Motion Picture is Ralph Fiennes, and Best Performance by an Actress in a Motion Picture, Ralph Fiennes. For musical or comedy, which the menu is both. I hate how the Golden Globes will just throw shit into those categories, and it frustrates me to no
It was
end.
my favorite musical comedy of last year, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's wrap this whole thing up, and I want to find out what's made you happy this week, Raven.
Here's the thing, we already kind of did that at the beginning.
We did. We kind of did. But if you got something else, I'll let you go ahead and say it before I tell you the thing that's been sitting on the list or our show notes all week long.
For it. I don't know. It was just a pretty decent week. I think that's all I really got.
All right.
So take it away.
There's few things in this world that I love more than being a dad, because being a dad is simultaneously the greatest and most frustrating thing in my life. I love my children dearly, but at the same time, they frustrate me to no end. My oldest daughter, I have taken it as my personal mission now to make as many dumb dad jokes as I can, because she's at that age where it is 100% cringe for her, for me to do that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I just wallow in it. So, this started many years ago. I want to tell this story before I tell this week's story, because there's few times when a dad joke will just plop in your lap and you have to seize. You only get one shot. You don't miss your chance to blow. Opportunity comes once in a lifetime.
Thank you.
So, this had to have been, Alice was probably about 4 or 5 years old, so it's been a while. It was probably 8 years ago at this point. And she was in the shower, and I hear her in the shower singing. And I can tell she's dancing because I hear her banging around the shower. And she's singing and singing. I'm like, man, she's really moving in there. Like, she's just having the time of her life. And then all of a sudden, I hear this horrible commotion. just and I hear her start crying, and I run into the bathroom, and she's crying, and I'm like, what happened? She's like, I fell. Oh. And I get her out of the shower, and I'm like, where does it hurt? And she's like, my bottom. I'm like, let me see. Because I'm telling you, it sounded like she fell from off the roof. She really slipped and fell hard.
Dang.
And I'm like, all right, let me see. So I turn around, and as she turns around, I look, and I go, oh, and I yell out of the bathroom. I go, Mommy, come quick. Alice has a crack in her butt. And Alice had this look for like half a second, like, oh my God. And then she heard me say it, and she gave me the most incredulous look.
Oh my gosh.
Like, how dare you? And I started laughing so uncontrollably hard that I started crying. It was the greatest dad joke moment of my entire life. It still ranks up there with, like, Eddie Murphy's comedy specials were not as good as that moment, because it was the greatest crossroads of preparation and opportunity. And it was, boom, got it. Now, fast forward 8 years, we were sitting around the house, and we were listening to music in the living room, and we were playing different stuff. We were singing and dancing and joking around, having a good time. And I said the phrase, I can't remember the exact phrase I said, but I said, that's my motto. And Amy goes, what's a motto? And I go, nothing. What's a motto with you? Oh. And again, cheers for no one but me. I was in heaven. That's two dad jokes that I got to make. Wonderful dad jokes that I got to make with both of my kids. This week, I found a video that has been making the rounds of a duck that I think is God's perfect creature. A duck starts messing with a cat, and this cat just starts giving him the old skibbity bops. Just pop, 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 starts popping him upside the head.
Bop.
And this duck is unfazed by it completely. Like, he's still just trying to mess with her, or mess with this cat. And after he gets skibbity popped like 20 times in the head, he's kind of like, oh, well, fine then. I guess I'll leave. And waddles off. And it was hilarious to me. So I sent it to Alice. And then right after I sent it, I had this great joke. I said he was trying to quack his head open. And I laughed and laughed and laughed.
Oh, you know, she rolled her eyes at it so hard.
It's still funny to me. Oh, and I laughed about that so much. And I still laugh about it because it's still funny to me. And that's what's made me happy this week. I say all of that to say that's what's made me happy this week, is to execute a great dad joke. So, yeah, that. And then today's serotonin dump of just going and doing interviews was fantastic. So,
nice.
So, yeah. All right, Raven, well, tell everybody where they can find you on the social medias.
You can find me over on the Instagrams at at That's So Raven Ellis. Forgot my own Instagram handle for a second. Or if you go on over to the Twitters, it's spooky__Raven. How about you, Mark? Where are you located?
You can find me on all of my social medias at Turtles Do It. And you can find the show
at Nerd for No Reason on all the social medias. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I recommend everyone go check out the Instagram because I posted some pictures of some of the cool stuff I got today. It's great. You can go check out the picture that Dan Fraga drew of my graffiti Ninja Turtle. Super awesome.
I looked at it. It's pretty dope.
And I will cut that audio up this week, and I'm not sure how I'm going to release it yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it to kind of supplement one of ours or one of our regular episodes, or if I'm just going to put it out as kind of like a little bonus thing, like a little midweek, treat. I'm not real sure. And I think that's partially because I don't know what the audio, how good or bad it is as I'm filtering through it. So we'll see. It's going to come out. Y'all just stick with us. So
Nice.
So yeah. So with that, go and do something wonderful in the world today.
You guys go and ingest all your medias, and we'll see you next week back here at the Nerd for No Reason podcast.
Whoop whoop! The wicked clowns will never die. I've been running around saying that, and my family thinks I'm dumb, but that's okay. I'm okay with that.
Anyways,
Let's
goodbye.
just run around the house going, Juggalo! Yeah, goodbye, everybody.